Hello everyone, welcome to the first session of Guru Talks. My name is Rahima Babayeva and I'm a fresh graduate of University of Aberdeen, and I'm going to be an interview moderator of this session. Today our guest is Dr. Yasser Elshayeb. Let me introduce our guest to you a little bit. Dr. Yasser is a graduate of Cairo University in 1990 with a degree in mining engineering and had a PhD from Nancy School of Mines in France on the contribution of fuzzy logic to geotechnical risk assessment of some ancient tombs at the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. Dr. Elshayeb has been active in teaching and research in various engineering subjects, such as rock engineering, rock mechanics, data analysis, cultural heritage management, risk assessment, and project management. Since 2006, Dr. Elshayeb was highly involved in the setting up of the Euro-Mediterranean policies and dialogues on higher education, research, innovation, and culture. As a focal point, presided many senior official meetings within the Euro-Mediterranean space. Since his early years, Dr. Elshayeb has developed a passion for various fields of science and knowledge dissemination. So, Dr. Yasser, would you like to say something to us before we get started?
Thank you very much for having me for this interview. I'm very happy to be here. I think it's the first in this series of, I mean, you call it the Guru Talk. I don't know if I'm qualified to be a guru or not, but I'll do my best. And yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for Professor Ahmed El-Garhi for the excellent organization. And thank you, of course, for you, Rahima, for all your efforts.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasser. Let's start from our part one, early life. Dr. Yasser, we are very curious. How was your childhood and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Saudi Arabia. My father was working there, and it was in the early 1970s. I'm a bit older than most of you, I think. He went there to build his career, to continue his career, and of course all the family went there. So I grew up in this country, in the capital, Riyadh. So yeah, I mean, petroleum for me, for example, petroleum was something that I knew very early in life, and I always heard since I was like 5 or 6 years that oil is about to be depleted. In 20 years, we will no longer have any oil. And now I'm 52 years old, and I'm still hearing the same saying from everyone that I meet. In 20 years, we will no longer have oil or gas in the world. So it's yeah, I mean, it's a small funny anecdote that I used to hear when I was young. As a child, of course I went to a school, and I grew up, and in Saudi Arabia I was actually privileged, and I would say that out loud, that I had a very good how to say, yeah, Islamic culture at school. So I learned Islam very, very, very well, I would say. And then when I moved back to Egypt, and then when I went on to France, and had all those cultures mixed together, and then coming back to Egypt and working in Egypt and working with European Union, with multi-cultures, and now working with the US and also another culture. I think this mix is a good thing for me as a person. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And when you were a child, what did you dream about doing with your life? Like you said, actually, but how about now?
Well, surprisingly, when I was a child, I still have him. I have an uncle who is living in the US, in California, and when I was young, he was just finishing his PhD, and he was like the role model for the whole family. So all my life, all my childhood, all my adulthood, I mean, I was like thinking, yeah, this Uncle Abdul Majid, I would like to be like him. He's someone that I would like to be that guy, you know. So that was my,
Was he in oil
yeah.
and gas industry?
Sorry?
Was he in oil and gas industry?
No,
Why
he's
not?
a mechanical professor, mechanical engineering professor, industrial engineering. He was at that time, and he's a graduate of Berkeley, and then he moved to San Jose, and then he continued his career in San Jose. He's still living in San Jose in California. So I mean, he was the role model. So I mean, I wouldn't say that the dream was engineering. The dream was not at that time. The dream was not engineering. The dream was not petroleum or mining or whatever, or earth science. But the dream was a university professor. That's the thing. Yeah, a university professor like my uncle. I would like to be like him, and so on.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think I also do want to do it. Well, Dr. Yasser, that our free time is one of the most important part of our daily life. So it's very interesting. What's your favorite pastime activity, and why do you like doing it?
My favorite pastime activity is actually not studying. It's sports. I mean, I like sports. I always wanted to do a lot of sports. When I was young, I was practicing running. I mean, I was like, running field 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters, going to Egypt here and there with my club. And I think at some point of time I was like in one of the national Egyptian competitions, graded maybe the 7th or the 8th all over Egypt, under 18 years old. I was the last. This is just a secret. In the race there was 8 people and I was the 8th. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end I was the 8th on Egypt. So I can claim this title. I still enjoy a lot sports. I do a lot of sports currently now. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. Sorry.
Which one exactly do you like?
Since 2014, I started doing a triathlon.
Oh.
So swim, bike, and then run. So you go into the water, you swim for a distance, and then you come up to the water, and then you ride your bike, and then you go for the bike for a distance, and then you go out of the bike, and then you run for a distance, and then you're finished or dead because it's very hectic. And actually, the competition that I'm doing, or the challenges that I'm doing now, is called Ironman. And if you Google it, you will find that it's an endurance sport. So it fits my age. I mean, people when they get older, they go more into the endurance sports than speed sports. So yeah, it fits with what I do. So yeah, I mean, we travel. I mean, with a group of friends, we travel here and there inside Egypt, outside Egypt, and we go to competitions, and we yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to do sports when you're maybe over 30 or over 40.
Yeah, it's good for all ages, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Yasser, you know about COVID situation, and we got some questions from our audience that how did COVID situation change your life? And also, my question is, what do you think? How has the industry changed since COVID, or also since you started?
The industry changed since I started. Of course, a lot of changes since I started. I started my career in, as you mentioned, in 1990 after graduation. So a lot of changes have changed since then. Just to tell you a small story, in the mining department in Cairo University, I was the first person to do his graduation project, his senior project, on a machine called personal computer. Before me, that was never happened. Of course, now it's the norm everywhere. I mean, everything is computerized, everything is digitized. I mean, a lot of, not everything, but a lot of things are digitized, a lot of things are computerized. And this, of course, is a big change. It has changed the scene of the industry dramatically. Since COVID, I think that the change that happened since COVID is that we have all of us, we have rediscovered the digital world. Good things and bad things. The good things is that we now know that we can live and we can communicate. We can not to travel every time that we need to meet someone, not to take long distances to meet people. We now know how to do that. We've learned it the hard way, I would say, because of COVID. The bad thing about it is that this digital communication, it's good, but I think that we all know now that it will never replace the physical interaction between people. I mean, I don't know about everyone, but I think that I can generalize on saying that, okay, I can do 60%, 70% of my meetings digital with Zoom, with the tools that we have. We can even have conferences. There are many platforms now that are developing for conferences and interaction and so on. But it will not replace the physical. It will not replace everything 100%. So maybe 50%, maybe 60%, nothing more.
Totally agree. And I have one question. You said you were the first student who did it in your while you were studying. Was it stressing? Did you have enough materials for doing it, or how was it?
Well, when you're pioneering in something, it's in a way easier because you're doing everything and no one knows anything about it. So you're doing the things your own way. But of course it's very risky because if you do things, I mean, I know that this slogan have disappeared a little bit from the computer industry or from any industry now. The GIGO, the garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So with computers, you can feed the computers with anything, and it will get you anything out. And it could be a very fancy graph and so on, but it doesn't mean, I mean, in reality, it doesn't mean anything. So this is the risk that you take when you are pioneering in something. You have to be very careful and very cautious. You have to have very high integrity, higher sense of integrity and ethics in order not to, because it's easy to, between brackets, of course, to bluff anyone in front of you. So if you don't have your own integrity, if you don't have your own ethics, if you don't follow your own ethics, it would be easy to bluff everyone, and then, I mean, I'm just producing nothing. It's useless.
Very true.
So yeah, that was the risk. But speaking about how easy it was, I mean, when I was in first year in engineering, I wanted to go to I wanted to study computer engineering at the beginning, but then for one reason or another, I couldn't do that, and I went into the mining department and in Egypt, and in the mining department, I said to myself, well, okay, if you didn't have the chance to go to the computer department, then why don't you bring the computer department to your department? And that was my challenge. So I was like, everything that I wanted to do, I wanted to do it on a computer, on a machine. I mean, using, in very, very early years, programming basic on a very small machine that is not really a computer, but it's just a machine to program like second order equation, how to solve second order equation, and that was for me something very very interesting. And arriving at graduation year 1990, those were the years where the personal computers started to be available in the market. So I had a personal computer, by the way, a gift from my uncle who is in the US, the same uncle that is my idol. And yeah, I mean, I did my graduation project on it, and I was very happy, very proud of it, that I was able to bring this machine that no one knew about to the world of the mining engineers.
That's very perfect. Thank you for answering my question. And another question, have you ever made a single change that led to tremendous success? And was it a deliberate action, or was it by accident or something like that?
Well, I think this is the story that I've just said now, that I wanted to go to computer engineering, but then I couldn't do it. Then I went to the mining department by choice. I had the choice to go to study petroleum engineering. I had I had the chance also to study chemical engineering, metallurgical engineering, and mining engineering. And my choice was mining engineering. I wouldn't say that I have a very good reason why that happened. Maybe because I like it. At that time, I liked geology a little bit. So I thought that maybe the mining department would be the department that has most of the geology in it. And that's what led me into this department. But then afterwards, I discovered that this was maybe the best decision that I've taken in my life.